Another year has passed and a new year is upon us. Welcome to Lazy Reviews. This is my 2024 retrospective where I just want to talk a bit about what happened to this channel in 2024. So in this video, of course, I want to talk about the videos I made this year, but I also want to talk about some of the other things, such as all the technical difficulties I've had that were plaguing me quite a lot, to be honest. Well, the technical difficulties that resulted in why this video is not really uploaded very close to the end of the year. I have had a lot of technical difficulties. I've had just a lot of poor setups and everything, bad lighting, all that. I will work on improving that in 2025. I'll also hopefully move and find a location, find a place with better walls, more lighting, all the things that not just I would need for these videos, but also I need for quality of life. My apartment is ugly, it's dark, I need something else. So of course, hopefully I have that to look forward to in 2025. And also another thing that's been plaguing me is of course the retinal detachment. I now suffered from it for more than 4 months at this point actually. And it's not really solved yet. It has made it more difficult to make videos, of course, and also I can't really do foreign films because it's not really easy for me to read subtitles right now. So I had to shelve some things, and I'm really delayed on a lot of things because yeah, it has been a true handicap for making videos. And at the same time, work picked up pace, so I've been more busy while also having more restrictions in what I can do. Hopefully that will be taken care of in January or maybe February, and I will be back to my usual self. I even have, the cool thing is I'll probably actually have better vision than I did before. So if there's one good thing about all the shit that happened, that's that. I will hopefully have better vision. But let's talk about movies, the meat of this channel. I did actually watch a lot of movies this year, should come as no surprise, but a lot of films that I do not have the time or even really necessarily the interest to cover on this channel. A lot of really good movies, a lot of mediocre movies, and quite a few bad movies as well. And I will make a second video of this retrospective or a follow-up to this retrospective where we'll be talking about the movies I think are worth highlighting, both the good and the bad. So you have that to look forward to if you're just interested in having some recommendations, because that video will mostly just be recommendations. But let's talk about the videos I did make. Of course, what took up a lot of my time this year was the Michael J. White retrospective, where I tried to find as many Michael J. White movies as I could, and then, well, review them. And of course I didn't get my hands on every single of his films, and I will have a follow-up hopefully this year where I try to review even more of his filmography. Because as that video series should reveal, I'm a big Michael J. White fan, but he's in a lot of bad movies, some really bad ones, Undercover Brother, Freaky Deaky, garbage movies like that. Oh, sorry, Undercover Brother 2 I should say. And of course he's in one of my favorite movies of all time, Black Dynamite. So he's a bit all over the place, and he's in some average or some alright movies like Never Back Down, 2 and 3, quite fine movies, and just a lot of B-movie schlock right now. He seems to be getting a bit of a better career, like he's being hired for more interesting projects, such as Dragged Across Concrete. So hopefully we can look forward to seeing him in good projects in the future, at least I hope so. And this year also I will be uploading some of those reviews as single reviews. Right now they are lumped together in 2 huge chunks and then also in smaller chunks. I'll put them up even as individual reviews this year. Not all of them, but the ones I think are worth putting up as singular reviews. So if you haven't seen any of the Michael J. White reviews, you can either watch the ones I already put up, or you can just wait until I upload the individual film reviews that might actually interest you. I didn't make as many franchise reviews in 2024 as I did in the year prior, though I did make a review of the Poltergeist franchise. And Poltergeist was a pleasant surprise. Of course, I'd watched the first film already, and I liked that a lot. The second film, though, it was surprisingly good. It is a bit of a slow burn, and it's a bit weird at times, but it has a great antagonist, it has some really cool visuals towards the end of it, it has some good ideas, and it expands on the family and dynamics of the first film quite well. So overall, a good movie. The third installment, of course, it's marked by the tragedy of the main protagonist, and also there are some issues with her aging in the movie, sadly, that do not work that well with the film and make it a bit confusing, and that just a lot of decisions that are not that great about the film, but the acting is quite good still, and has still some good visuals, some good ideas, but not really the best sequel, but also not the worst considering it's the third installment. Watchable, but not very recommendable. And then of course there was the remake. A remake with Sam Rockwell, which, I mean, Sam Rockwell is nice. The film is okay, but it has a lot of flaws. And the use of CGI in it is troubling at times, especially when they decide to go into the realm of the dead. Something you didn't really see in the original film, but now you get to see it, and it's not really good. A disappointing remake, but definitely not the worst remake I've ever seen. And overall, quite a good franchise considering what else I've been reviewing on this channel.
You're so righteous. this is also true.
And of course my latest review was P2. P2 is this Christmas slasher set in this parking garage and not really that good, not the worst. I don't really want to talk more about that. And the outlier this year, of course, talked about Suzerain. Suzerain, which is a really, really good political game. A game I enjoyed a lot. Brilliant story, I can really recommend it. There's of course a DLC, and I will eventually cover the DLC. I haven't played it yet. I have a lot of things I want to cover first, a lot of things I want to talk about first, a lot of things just need to do in my own spare time, or I guess this is my spare time, my private life, before I can get to that. And also I have 2 more games I want to review this year. One of them I will disclose. One of them is The Quarry, which I am not that positive of. The second game is one that I really enjoyed and that I can really recommend. And I don't know when I will do the review of it. I will try and film it soon so it's still fresh in my memory. But I don't know when it will come out.
The people have spoken.
I also made 3 short spoiler-free videos about movies that came out last year, so while they were still in the cinema. I just want to give you a quick idea whether or not you should watch the film or not. And of course they may not be that interesting to watch right now, considering of course now you might already have seen them or you don't really care about them at this point. But in case you're curious, you can watch them. They're about Furiosa, Alien Romulus, and Longlegs. And actually Longlegs was a film I was apparently much more positive of than many people. Most people I come across don't really like it. A lot of people even hate it. And I will say that I don't really like the second half of it. I don't really like where they take the story, the direction they go in. But I think everything else up to that point, and even some of the things after, more the halfway point or 2 first thirds of the film, some of those things still work quite well. I just don't like what they do with the story, but I do still like the visuals. I like the sound design a lot. I like the cinematography. There are a lot of good things to say about it, but I can understand why people wouldn't necessarily like it. And also, yeah, I am not... People call what they do with it a bit of a cop-out. And I am inclined to agree, though I do still think you should watch it. It's still an interesting film. Similarly to these short spoiler-free reviews, also made one of a film that came out the year prior, Dream Scenario, a Nicolas Cage movie that I can also really, really strongly recommend. I don't spoil anything in my review. I don't even really touch on the plot of it, but I do talk about why I think it works that well. It's a bit longer. I think it's more than 10 minutes. The other ones are only a few minutes long. That one, I actually do talk about why I think it works that well. And it's a video where you can probably see it before watching the film to get an idea whether or not you want to watch it or not. Or even possibly after it, just to see why someone might get this positive impression in case you may not like it as much. Apparently my brother watched it and hated it, and his friends hated it. And I'm surprised because I think it's a masterpiece, or small masterpiece, so. And talking about masterpieces, I also watched Auntie's Meat Pies, a film that I liked a lot. And one of the videos I had the most fun editing. I think I really had a blast editing that video. So if you haven't seen it, you might enjoy it. It's a weird cannibal horror comedy-ish made by a man who almost exclusively worked with, I don't know what you can say on YouTube, R-rated films, let's just put it that way. And yeah, it's quite enjoyable. Either watch my review of it or just watch the movie. It's a really good movie if you're into that kind of thing.
You make the best meat pies I've ever tasted.
Another video I made this year that wasn't really received that well, or rather just very few people watched it, is my take on, or my discussion of the Finnish neo-Western set in Lapland during the Second World War, Sisu. I spent a lot of time describing why I don't think the film works. Part of it is historical research into why the movie doesn't really work well historically, and also from technical perspectives, why I couldn't really suspend my disbelief at times. I do recognize it's not really trying to be a historical movie, it's trying to be a cool action movie, a bit like Rambo or Commando, and it just also fails in that regard. And the other part of my review is why I just couldn't enjoy it, an action film. That it's too stupid, too nonsensical, and too poorly written, paced, directed, all of things. Nothing really works about that film in my opinion. I really didn't like it. And if you're curious about hearing why this neo-Western action film doesn't work in my opinion, you can watch my review of that. I spent a lot of time on it. Maybe I shouldn't have. It was a movie that ground my gears a bit. So that's why.
He's one mean motherfucker that you do not want to mess with.
And there are 2 more things I want to talk about this video. One of them is my video made on the topic of being visually impaired, to be blind or partially blind. Of course, it was made right after I, lost sight, or partially lost my sight on my right eye, and I was shocked at the moment. It's not the best video for that reason. The lighting is awful in that, and I also in the video apologize for the lighting being off. I couldn't really tell at the time. It looks awful. But I did make this video where I give you the whole introduction, why I made a video on this subject, what you should actually look out for so you don't suffer the same fate I did. It's a bit informative, not just a movie review. I will publish a video only of the review part where I talk about these 3 films without any of the introduction. So if you're interested in hearing my thoughts about the 80s sort of cult classic Blind Fury, the indie horror thriller Sightless from 2022, I think, 2022, and the very, very good drama, romantic drama, comedy, probably just a drama or slice of life to some extent, Scent of a Woman from 1991? 1992? I actually don't remember right now. But if you're interested in seeing my review of these or hearing my thoughts about these films, you can wait for that video to come out if you don't want to hear my introduction on it, where I talk about, being blind or why I picked this topic. If you don't care, if you want to see that, you can also just watch the video that's already out on this. And if you're not interested in watching that, and I can understand why, because it's just not the best looking video I've made, then I'll just want to tell you that Scent of a Woman is a really, really good film, and you should watch it. It's a classic. Not even a cult classic, just a genuine classic.
Tits. Whew.
And finally, for what's still ongoing, my review of the Terminator franchise. So right now, only one video is out. I planned it so that the first film would come out on the 40th anniversary of the first Terminator film, which I did succeed in. I filmed everything right before my retinal detachment, including what I made for the teaser trailer. A teaser trailer I had a lot of fun making. People didn't really seem to like it, sadly. I thought it was a bit funny, but of course, it's always a bit with these things. I can see why maybe some people would not find it as entertaining. Maybe some people thought I was serious about it. I don't know. I like the teaser. I also used the teaser trailer in the video itself. So if you haven't watched my review of Terminator, it's one of the videos I spend more time on. And that's the thing with the Terminator franchise. I filmed my review of the second film. I don't know when it will come out. And it's just a franchise I want to spend so much time on because I love it. I really want to spend the time on it that it deserves. And that's why I don't know when it will come out. I have so much to work on this year. I have so much blocking me, preventing me from just reviewing this franchise. So I don't know when I will have the rest of it out. I am working on it, but I'll let it take the time it takes. I don't want to be sloppy. I want to really dedicate the time I want to dedicate to this project. I'm really looking forward to editing my review of the second Terminator film, but I think the first review I did is quite good. And give you an idea whether or not you want to watch the rest of my review of the franchise. And that's a big project I'll be working on in 2025. I'm not sure what other projects I'll start on, but that's a big one. I have a lot of other videos that will come out that I already made, a lot of other ideas I want to work on, but I'm not sure where my time will be prioritized. But that's it. That's the end of this video. That's the end of my retrospective of 2024. Although, of course, I do have my other video that will come out soon, maybe in the next week or so, where I will be highlighting some of the best films I watched in 2024 and some of the worst ones. So you can see it as just a list of films I recommend if you're curious. Of course, you can always check out my Letterboxd to see what movies I watched and what movies I like and don't like. Sometimes I write long reviews, sometimes I write not so long reviews. Also, I tend not really to read through my reviews, so they're not necessarily that well written. But you can check out my Letterboxd if you're curious about whether or not I have thoughts on a movie you are curious about watching. And that's what the next video will be about. I'll just be talking about a bunch of movies I watched and give just very, very brief commentary about them. So that's that you can look forward to if you're interested. And I also just want to say thank you for all of my subscribers. Thank you for all of you who watch my videos this year. Thank you to everyone who commented. I do appreciate comments. I don't so much appreciate negative comments that are just uninformed or silly and not really productive. I do like constructive criticism. I do like to hear what I can improve, but also I do like to hear if there are some of my takes that are wrong. Sometimes I might have misinterpreted something or missed some details, so I can give you wrong. I'm fallible, of course I'm fallible. So of course I sometimes give you wrong takes on things. So if you catch something I said in video that is wrong or arguably wrong from a certain perspective, please feel free to comment. Of course, you can also just comment nice things. I do love hearing your nice thoughts as well. But yeah, if you have anything interesting to comment, anything, point out that I could improve on or could do different or something, please feel free to do that. I would look forward to hear that. I always like that. But that's it. I hope you will have a great 2025. I hope it will be a productive, good year for everyone and that absolutely nothing bad will happen. Bye.